If you could change any choices you have ever made, would you? You can always make another choice and change the course of your success. Everyone has the potency to make inspired choices. Get ready to listen, share, and experience the creativity that is you. Now, here is the host of Inspired Choices radio show, Christine McIver.
Woohoo! Welcome. Hold on to your hats. This is what came to me before the show started tonight, was like, hold on to your hats. This one's going to be wild. So tonight we are talking with Ranchelle Van Bryce. She is my co-host tonight. I'm going to tell you all about her magic in just a moment. Yes, we are wild women. Thank you, Kim, our producer in the chat room. You know what? This is a great topic to get wild about. So tonight we are talking all about poverty or wealth. Your focus decides.
Right? Where's the ominous music? Dun, dun, dun.
Oh, yes, we need to get that all lined up. This is a subject, if you joined me last week, my show was why making money is a responsibility and not a desire. That show lit me up. And I think one of the biggest reasons it lit me up was because there was so much that I was receiving was so powerful and most especially needed now more than ever. I didn't say anything that probably hasn't been said in different ways in the past, but there was absolutely no victim energy in what was coming through. And I think that's the big piece that's really been speaking to me a lot. And that's why when Ranchelle and I discussed doing our show together, I said, I really want to do it as a follow-up to that show. So thank you, Ranchelle, for being here tonight.
Thank you for
So let me tell you people all about Ranchelle Van Bryce. First of all, Ranchelle is I'm going to tell all your secrets. I don't think I know them all yet, but I'm going to tell a couple of them. Ranchelle is the host here on Inspired Choices Network. She has been on the network since April. So she's been on for about 25 weeks now, or close, or maybe a little bit more than that. So it's gone really fast. And Ranchelle is the host. Her show is called Ignite Your Success, which is just such a powerful show. I love listening to your shows, the way that you receive information, the perspective that you have, and the invitation that you be in your shows are fantastic.
Thank you.
So Ranchelle is many, many things. I'm going to read you the legit bio. She is an entrepreneurial success coach, an international speaker, radio, TV, and podcast host, and an author who is magnificently obsessed with guiding women to live their best lives. And she does that without even trying. She started her entrepreneurial journey as the first woman in Canada to buy a Curves, which is a for women franchise for working out. She was blessed to own and operate eight, not one, but 8. Let's just do a little bit more. You know, she doesn't do anything half-assed. 8 Curve franchises from 2000 to 2010. Ranchelle discovered her passion for helping women, whether in the health and wellness of their physical bodies, business life, or relationships. In 2010, Ranchelle switched her focus from the Curves franchise to business coaching and consulting. She believes in the trifecta approach to business, spirituality, science, and strategy. As a mindset coach, she knows that mindset isn't everything, although it does impact 80% of your day. She takes her clients through a process where they understand how all parts of their lives affect their business or profession. She inspires and guides her clients to be big, be bold, be brilliant, to have the influence and income they want. Now, this woman is in demand. I'm going to give you her website and her email address, but she is in demand. So if you want to connect with her, do it soon. Her email address is Ranchelle@Ignite Your Success. So that's RANCHELLE. Or her website is Ranchelle Van Bryce. You can find her all across social media platforms. And of course, here on the Inspired Choices Network. So Thank you so much for being here. There's some things that bio does not speak to. It does not speak to your massive awareness, your impeccable psychic ability, the kindness that you spread when you coach people, even when you're kicking their ass, which my ass appreciates. Ranchelle, you've been a gift. You've been a gift in my world. You've been a gift in my personal life, in my business life. You were a marketing guru. So, I mean, it's like, I just want to pick Ranchelle's brain every day. So she's definitely someone you want to check out and bring into your world for sure.
Thank you so much. Wow. Thank you for the love. Appreciate you and all that you do for me.
Fantastic. Ditto. So let's get into tonight's show. So I want to read the script and then it'll just bring us right into it. So poverty or wealth? Well, of course, we all would choose wealth, but are we? Where your focus lies is what you will create. Again, we all know this. We understand, at least intellectually, the law of attraction. However, most people are challenged with creating wealth, and a great deal of that is based on their conscious and subconscious focus. So we're talking more about focus tonight than we are talking about mindset. And this is changeable and much easier than we know. And the really cool thing that I love about this subject is, as you and I have been discussing it, there really are tangible things that we can be doing. And that's what I think is the most exciting piece of this entire discussion, is sharing those tangible pieces that we can change it for everyone. Now, last week on my show, I was very vulnerable. I don't have a problem being vulnerable. I have been broke to the point when my son was born, I had to gather pop bottles to go buy milk. I've been to the point where I had to give up everything and move in with a relative. I have been broke. I have been broker than broke. and I understand that side of it. And I think there's a big piece of being broke, not that you need to be broke, but I think there's a big piece of that. Understand what you do not want and what you've been choosing when you were broke, that really kind of stays in the forefront of your mind to choose differently.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I would agree. And I think there's so much there that you're talking about, Christine. So there's a few things. So the first thing is the choices, and I think sometimes what happens is when we're experiencing obstacles and challenges, we can tend to come from this place of, and you had said this, that you were coming from a place of victory. And you didn't use those words, but it wasn't like, feel sorry for me, here I authentically am, but here's what you could possibly learn, from me, from the situation that I experienced. And I have found the times that I was the most broke. So, I was in my 20s, I had 2 jobs, got fired from a waitressing job. And I've been fired a few times. That's a whole other day, whole other story. And had to go to a food bank. So to get food.
Oh my gosh.
And it was a very humbling experience for me because we just didn't talk about stuff like that in my home, right? I grew up in a small town in Saskatchewan. So to be honest, I'm sure they have a food bank now, but they certainly didn't. And that certainly wasn't part of it. But I learned so much from that humbling. It wasn't humiliating. And I really want to point that out. I didn't feel humiliated. I felt humbled, but also put me in a situation where I kept on, my mom used to say to me, well, both my parents used to say to me, you are the sum of your choices, Ranchelle. And I remember being in the food bank and kind of looking around and thinking, and not in judgment, but thinking, I don't belong here. What decisions did I make? I am the sum of my choices. What decisions did I make so that I ended up being here? Now, when I say that, a lot of times what happens, Christine, is people become angry and they go, it's not my fault. That's not what I said. We're responsible, right? We're making decisions, which is different. It has a different energy to it than fault. Does. Right.
But sometimes you got to get there. I remember when you say the food bank, I went to the food bank once and it was on my birthday And I think it was like in 2002. And I remember I had both my kids in the car with me, and I remember driving away, just streams of tears coming down. And I'm like, oh my God, I was in the energy of victim, like crazy. I felt sorry for myself. I was angry at my ex, you name it, right? And many of us have been there. I mean, when we talk about archetypes, one of the archetypes is the victim, and you're never, ever going to get rid of that. You just need to be very aware when it sneaks in the back door and tries to take over, right? And so, I mean, I'm glad for you. It was humbling. For me, it was humiliating. I was so embarrassed. I was beyond and beyond. And I allowed that to stick me. Right. I allowed that to stick me for a long time. And I was referring to that in last week's show, how that energy of embarrassment, shame, humiliation, that slows you down more than anything else. Mm-hmm. And I think that's one of the very first points about where are you focusing? Where are you focusing? Do you have any of that energy in your thoughts, in any experience? Even here was something I was taught once. I don't know if you're ever taught this, but somebody said to me, I want you to look back at that time. Look back at that time when you felt humiliated and you felt shame. Do you still feel that in your body today? As you consider that moment in time. And, the first time I was asked this, I still had that. So that's that piece where we're talking about that subconscious piece that's still within us, and it's operating underneath everything that you're doing and thinking, and, everything that you're intending on creating and growing. And so, but today I'm happy to say that, I've been absolutely doing my work. And that's not there anymore. Praise the Lord, because that was heavy. It had me. And, I didn't come from a poor family that, but there was definitely the energy of worry. Worry was such a big thing. So I think that that's one of the biggest things. Worry has been such a prominent energy in the last several years. And I don't feel it going down. Do you perceive that energy going down?
It certainly has shifted. I would say it's shifted this summer, mostly this summer. And it's funny you say that, Christine, because when 2020 arrived, and so, I, as you had talked about, I had this connection. I'm very empathic in nature. Mm-hmm. And I could feel the utter panic in the world. And I had a friend who was literally becoming undone. And I was really calm, and I was sharing my experience with her, as I was sharing her what I could feel. And she's like, you're just so calm. And I had this realization that my entire life prepared me for 2020. Because I had almost lost my home. I had vehicles taken because I couldn't make payments. I had the humiliation. So there was times of almost going bankrupt. I had lost several relationships that were very, very important to me. I had gone to the food bank. This is the first time with my business that I just have one thing going. I mean, I have several revenue streams. I have one business. When I had the curves, Christine, I had another revenue stream that was completely separate. I was an international trainer for a multi-level marketing company. And so I've never not had done things like that. So I'm sharing that because we're talking about this focus piece and bringing our past into our present. And we can bring our past into the present, and we can stand on the story, or we can bring our past into the present and stand in the story.
Right.
And it feels much different. So we can share our experience and our expertise.
Right.
Without feeling all the feels, which is what you're talking about.
Yes. Right? Yes. And that is such an important distinction to understand, that your past does not have to be something that is wrapped around you any longer. But it is a source to learn and grow from, absolutely, and to be checking in. So we are up for our first break. Ranchelle and I absolutely know there is not a chance we are going to get through everything we all want to talk about. It's not going to happen. However, what we are going to share is going to be definitely a contribution, for certainly in my world, and for all of the listeners and viewers. So I would love you to stick around, come back and join Ranchelle and I after the break. If you are on Facebook, come join us. We're going to close down the Facebook stream, and I would love you to come on over into the chat room, ask us questions here. If you're listening on one of our 450 platforms, that's right, that's what I said, 450 platforms, you can send me an email, Christine@inspiredchoices.ca, and we'll be happy to answer any of your questions. So stick around, my friends. You're listening to Inspired Choices with myself, Christine McIver, my fabulous guest, Ranchelle Van Bryce. Tonight, we're talking poverty or wealth. We'll be right back.
Many of us make choices in our lives based on our past experiences or what others believe. What would our lives be like if we made our choices based on what we desire for our futures? When you join Inspired Choices Radio Show with Coach Christine McIver, you'll be provoked to look at what is true and what you know but may not choose that requires your attention. Christine does not hold back and brings all her expertise during each and every show. Are you ready to create the life and the living you truly desire? Listen for Inspired Choices Radio Show every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Are you a subject matter expert? Are you here to share your expertise with an audience waiting to hear from you in only the way you can deliver? Are you ready to have your voice amplified across the airwaves? Inspired Choices Network has a global radio platform streaming to millions of people across the world. Professionally produced and supported by an accomplished team every step of the way, you can broadcast from anywhere in the world, knowing your voice matters, and we ensure it is delivered with ease and efficiency. Eager to hear your message, the world awaits. Contact us today to become an Inspired Choices Network radio host. Email becomeahost@inspiredchoicesnetwork.com.
This is the Inspired Choices Show with Coach Christine McIver. To participate in the program, join our live studio audience in our chat room at InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to Christine@InspiredChoices.ca. Now, back to the program.
Welcome back, everyone. Yes, I am Christine McIver, your host tonight with my co-host, Ranchelle Van Bryce. We're talking all about poverty, wealth, and focus. So before we went to break, we just kind of laid down the groundwork around what we've often experienced, what many of you have probably experienced at some time or another. And now I would love to lead into some of the areas where we need to really put on our what's that big beaming light, that miners wear. We need to have one of those, paying attention to where our focus is. Can you imagine having that beaming light on your forehead, and every time you looked over at worry, or you looked over at fear, or you looked over at bills, and it shone a light and you realize, oh, I'm focusing on the wrong thing. So let me ask you a question, Ranchelle. What do you do when you've been in a situation where there's more bills than there is money? What have you done in the past?
Ooh, I love that. Right. And you know what? So I want to start by saying that sometimes still happens. I think one of the not wrongdoing, that's the wrong language, but so please bear with me while I try to find the right language. But one of the challenges that happens with coaches, whether it's a law of attraction coach or mindset coach or business consultant or whatever, is that the perception is that we don't have those kinds of challenges. And so I am really owning that the truth seeker. I'm a truth seeker and a truth speaker. And so that's not true. There are still times where myself, I can't speak of any other person, but myself, where I have a desire to do something, or have a desire to purchase something, or desire, and the money's not there. And so so one of the things that I do is I remember one of the universal laws, which is the universal law of supply, which means if the desire is there, and it's like a capital D desire. So it's not like I want, because I don't have something, but more of the I desire this thing. And if the finances isn't there, or the ways and means to create it isn't there, I know that the desire was placed there by universal spirit. So the ways and means to have it happen must also be available. So we talk about the focus. It's on focusing on what the desire is, not focusing on the fact that I don't have the appearance of the resources. And I say appearance because when we look with our five senses, we will usually see the gap. When we have faith, which is an absence of fear, or I can say it the other way, fear is an absence of faith. Fear is an absence of love. So we can have the faith, we can have the love that the thing will transpire the way it's meant to, because the desire was there.
Because the desire is there.
Yeah, because the desire is there. So I invoke other universal laws as well, and I'll just start with that one.
Okay, so one of the big things that I think is so important to check in on yourself, and I started doing this when I first started my business in 2008. I remember sitting down one day, and I can see myself sitting in this big chair I used to have that I loved. It was like a teddy bear chair. And I remember sitting there and asking myself this question. So what do I believe about money? What do I believe about money? And I looked to my parents, who taught me about money indirectly. There was never the sit down and discuss the money pieces. But I remember looking to each of them, and my father was somebody who, he was the creator. He was a really big creator, and he believed that there was a lot of abundance in the world. Now he did operate from the energy of fear that he wouldn't get his share. So there was that piece, right? Yeah. But he did believe in abundance. My mother, trying to feed all of our mouths, I'm the 10th of 11, trying to feed all of our mouths. And then the grandbabies started coming, and there was always plenty to take care of. She was always worried that there wasn't going to be enough to feed everyone. Yeah. And she didn't have, it's so interesting. It's such a dichotomy, because there was never lack ever in my life. There was never any lack. But there was the worry that there would be lack. Yeah. So when I sat down and I looked at it, I looked at what my mother believed, I looked at what my father believed, and then I really dug deep and said, okay, what do I believe? And this began the journey of really moving into the truth of what I know. Now, not consciously, but what I've known all along, that there is absolutely no limitation anywhere in anything. Yeah. And I'm so grateful that I'm getting that, and I'm getting that again and again and again. And this past couple of years, interestingly enough, since the pandemic, I've gotten it stronger than ever, which is, the opposite of the experience of many other people in the world. But I think that that's one of the biggest things, is that what you believe is where you are focused subconsciously, where your energy is going to focus.
Absolutely.
And we can have bad times. We can definitely, we all have bad times. We all have difficult times, but then do you right yourself? I mean, if you think about it, if you're driving and you're not paying attention and you start swerving out the road, you right yourself, right? We can all have those experiences regarding money and wealth and our belief systems, but how quickly do you right yourself?
I love that. I'm so visual, as you know. So I had this visual, Christine, of like going and like, oh yeah, I'm swerving. Oh, I'm just going in the ditch because, you know, I'm just going to take some time. And right. Like, whereas I think that's what happens when it comes to the mindset. And it's not just the mindset, it's inspired action. Right. And I always say it's inspired action because it comes from that place of faith. I can take action based in fear. My results then are what I don't want. I can take inspired action based in love and faith and compassion, understanding all those higher density energies, and my results are different. What we do when we course correct quickly when we're driving a vehicle. So if we think about like manifesting, thoughts and feelings are faster than the speed of light. They travel faster than the speed of light. They have a vibration to it. Mm-hmm. So we don't instantaneously manifest, but if we only understood how powerful our thoughts and feelings were, we would course correct quicker. Yeah. Right? Because it travels so quickly. So those are some of the things you can do when we talk about it's not just mindset. It's like, what do we focus on? We can focus on what's the truth, be radically honest with ourselves, and focus on how do I, and where do I course correct? And those are the things that we can ask ourselves immediately, not why. Why is a mind insert bad word? Because you go back into your past and you do this massive Google, like your brain's a massive Google. It'll tell you all the reasons why you weren't successful. Right. So I don't recommend very often asking why questions.
Why question. I love that. And, you know, the one question that I would love all of our viewers to think about and to ask themselves, do you believe that you have the opportunity to be wealthy? Do you believe you have the opportunity to be wealthy? Yeah. And Ranchelle's getting all excited over here.
I know. Did you see Mike's going flying away?
She just fell off her chair. No, I'm just kidding. But think about this for just a second. What was your instantaneous gut? What did your gut say right when I asked that question? Do you believe you have the opportunity? Okay, so we have somebody in the chat room that says no. So when you get the instant gut reaction that, first of all, it's a no, excellent. Fantastic that you're aware of that, because now what that says, even the fact that you're willing to speak that, acknowledge that, that means you're willing to look at it and change it, that you're ready. And that's a big piece. When you cannot change anything until you are ready. And it's okay. When you're ready, you're ready. So you get a no. What that means is there is a belief that there is lack in the world. There is a belief that there is lack. Now, if you watch the news or you buy into any of the financial people in the world saying, you know, we're going into a recession, we're this and we're that, it's like, you know, I'm 60 years young. I've heard we're going into a recession so many times. I'm like, and like, honestly, I started started school when there was a recession. I started my business when there was a recession. Like my business has grown during a recession. Like that, it means absolutely nothing, but it does mean a lot if you have a belief in lack.
100%. And a question for the person in the audience that I would ask is, because we have that no, I'm not. And then we can ask ourselves, ask yourself, would you be willing? So it kind of goes like this. Would you be willing to accept, right, that there's no limitations? Would you be willing? And then if it's a no, then you go one step further. Would you be willing to be willing?
Oh, yeah.
Right? When this was first posed to me, I was experiencing a lack of forgiveness, actually. And the question was, would you be willing to forgive this person? And it was no.
Hell to the no.
Hell to the no. I had to have 5 willings. I was willing to be willing, to be willing, to be willing, to be willing. Ooh. And then each time it became less, to the place where I was willing to. And then I moved into forgiveness. So it doesn't necessarily go from no to yes, so that the audience person said yes, which is great. But it's that being open to it.
Right.
That's huge.
And if you have a desire for it to be a yes, if you have a desire, but everything in your body and your mind and your heart, is screaming no, that's okay. You're still
Mhm.
one step closer to it.
Yes.
And and whenever you have a desire or you have a thought of a possibility, know, just like Ranchelle, you were talking about, everything has energy. Know that that is now available to you. And I can tell you a few years back when people would say this to me, I'd be like, okay, thank you. And I would like, I was in my mind was thinking, you know what, go to hell. You have no idea who I am. You don't know what my problems are, and blah, 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 and you're not paying my bills, and da, 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 da. There was all of that, right? I was so resistant. And there was a very big part of me that didn't believe that the opportunity was available to me. And that, I think, is one of the biggest pieces, that when you begin to realize that, the Jeff Bezos and the whatever, anybody, name somebody that that you look up to, like, oh, they have so much money. If you believe that they are the only people in the world that have the opportunity, then that's exactly what you're going to continue to create in your life.
Absolutely.
But that focus and that knowing, and I mean knowing as in you laugh when you see a bill come in, and then you look at your bank account and you laugh and you go, well, I don't know where it's coming from, but I absolutely know it's coming.
Yes.
I absolutely know. And that is such an exciting place to be in. So we're up for our second break of the show. We've got more we want to discuss. Stick around. This conversation will just continue to grow, and it'll be such a gift. Ranchelle, I'm so happy that you are here. We are getting more clarity around the whole piece around poverty or wealth. And we've got a little surprise we want to share with you right after the break. So stick around. You're listening to Inspired Choices with myself, Christine McIver, my wonderful guest co-host, Ranchelle Van Bryce, talking all about poverty and wealth. We'll be right back.
Many of us make choices in our lives based on our past experiences or what others believe. What would our lives be like if we made our choices based on what we desire for our futures? When you join Inspired Choices radio show with Coach Christine McIver, you'll be provoked to look at what is true and what you know but may not choose that requires your attention. Christine does not hold back and brings all her expertise during each and every show. Are you ready to create the life and the living you truly desire? Listen for Inspired Choices radio show every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
How wonderful would it be to carry your favorite Inspired Choices Network host with you throughout your day? Well, now you can. Inspired Choices Network now has its very own mobile app. Our free app offers live streaming shows, along with thousands of podcasts and TV episodes. Our shows cover a wide variety of topics. Whether you're waking up with us, carrying us through the day, and taking us to bed with you, we're always here for you to enjoy. We're easy to find. Just search for Inspired Choices Network in the Apple App Store or Google Play Store.
This is the Inspired Choices Show with Coach Christine McIver. To participate in the program, join our live studio audience in our chat room at InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to Christine@InspiredChoices.ca. Now, back to the program.
Welcome back, my friends. Yes, you are listening to the Inspired Choices show with Ranchelle Van Bryce and myself as we discuss poverty and wealth. Now, I would like to talk to you a little bit about a couple of things that will connect to the show. So, my brain was trying to how are we going to say this? So, my wonderful, wonderful niece, who is also an amazing writer, she writes. If you would like some writing done, seriously, you need to connect with her. And she assisted me in writing my profile, specifically for my LinkedIn profile. And as she wrote it out, there was laughter and there was tears as I was reading it. It was just, it was humbling to read it and to see where I have come from. And I think the first line was, if you'd have told me 10 years ago that I would be the CEO of an international global broadcasting platform, I would have said, you're nuts. I would have said you were really, truly, you're nuts. That's not me. Like, what? Where the heck? How's that going to happen? Well, the cool thing is that you don't need to know the how. What is important is that you keep choosing and keep choosing and keep choosing. And here on Inspired Choices Network, we now are on 450 platforms. You can go to your favorite live streaming platform. You can go to your favorite podcasting platform, you name it, we're there. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Spreaker, Apple, Google Play, you name it, we are there. And we are also on TV. If you're watching this TV episode, we are also on TV, both online. You can catch us online. All of our shows are in Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, all over the place. And we are on smart TVs. And we just got our own smart TV app on Apple TV and Google Play TV, which has more than 50 million monthly subscribers. Now, I still have to pinch myself with this because I'm still like, holy crap. And we are in so many different places. We also have the Inspired Choices Network phone app. And, all of these things for me, they just keep blowing my mind because I keep asking and it all keeps showing up. And the change for me is the knowing that the opportunity is available to me. The opportunity is available. And I do want to speak about this amazing event that's coming up. It actually starts tomorrow. It is called the Clarity Confidence, brain just had a fart. Clarity Confidence Connection. Oh my God. Connection Summit. I knew it was 3 C's. Clarity Confidence Connection Summit. It's going on for 2 days. There is more than 70 speakers. Every speaker has free gifts. Most every speaker has VIP gifts. Over $17,000 in gifts if you pick up the VIP ticket, which is right now only $47. So you want to get that quick. But the best part about this is these amazing speakers have come together and they are as quote unquote normal as Ranchelle and I are. They have had their triumphs. They have had their humbling moments. They have had their climb up the hill. And what brings them to being such an amazing gift in the world today is they're walking their talk. And they are going to share with you how very real they are in their world and how that can be a gift to you. They're not going to be standing on stage acting like they're all that in a bag of chips and that it's just untouchable. That's not what this conference is about. And Ranchelle is one of the co-hosts of this conference. She is, along with 2 other amazing women, have put this conference together. And we, the Inspired Choices Network, are the sponsors. This is our first event we've ever sponsored, and it just feels so in alignment with what Inspired Choices Network is all about. And we have not 1, not 2, but 6 of our hosts are going to be featured speakers at this conference. Oh. The link is in the replay. Go get it. Go get it. You need to sign up. I'm telling you, it's going to be 2 packed days. I put on Facebook the other day, get a pillow, get some food all lined up, get a notebook and lots of pens and get ready, because this is going to be such an amazing opportunity to ingest phenomenal information from people who really are moving through life and changing their lives. And who else do you want to learn from but people that are really changing their lives, right?
Absolutely. Thank you for that. Yeah. I think whenever you're doing something, you're hosting, you have this dream, and then you watch it kind of unfold. And so it goes back to, Christina is talking about like, what did we focus on? And so we made decisions that we would focus on what we desired from the summit. We made a decision about the kind of speakers we wanted to attract.
Mhm.
We had over 175 speakers apply. Wow. I know. And so, and 76 we had said yes to, and they had said yes to us, because there was a few more that we had said yes to, but then didn't take action. And this is an important piece. Is mindset is important, focus is important, and then action.
Yeah. Action.
And then action is important, because we could have been dreaming about the summit and not take action on it. And so we, dreamt about what we wanted, and really it becomes that vision, the feeling behind it, and then taking. And I said forever inspired action. So when I first saw the network, I was like, oh, here's my people. Here's my people.
Here's my people.
Here's my people, right? So,
yeah, it's fantastic. I love that. Like, we're talking about the focus. And I know that oftentimes we can have this experience where you feel like, okay, right, I'm in alignment. I've got my focus online and I'm doing the things that I need to be doing. And all of a sudden you get knocked out, you get knocked down because something occurs. So what do you do in that moment? And that's the question, another question to ask yourself. Do you fall apart? And if you fall apart, do you bookend it? So this is something that I say to my coaches all the time, or my clients all the time. It's like, okay, if you're really having a terrible day, just bookend it. In other words, go in there and beat the pillows, cry your eyes out, scream and yell, get all the chocolate and cheese and get everything you need. Like, just marinate in this, marinate in your anger, your frustration, your pity, whatever it is, marinate in it. And when you go to bed that night, you're done. You bookend it. Yeah. And then the next day you start again. It's a refresh, right? So this is September the 7th, 2022. September is that same and has that same energy of refresh. I'm a Monday girl. I love Mondays because it has the energy of that refresh, that restart. Give yourself the grace to fall apart, but bookend it.
I love that, Christine. Right? Yeah, that's beautiful. One of the things that I share is, when you're experiencing this, when you decide that you want something and you have the focus, the universe, so I'm going to approach it in two prongs, because I love this, is the universe conspires with you. So you make a decision and the universe says, fantastic, right? Christine wants this, Ranchelle wants this, and conspires. So it's like moving all these chess pieces to make that happen. But the way to get there is not wrapped up in a Tiffany box with a beautiful white bow. It kind of looks like, and I use this example a lot, it's how my 2-year-old and 4-year-old wrapped their first Christmas present. It was a bloody mess. But the gift inside was beautiful. So if we just look at the wrapping, we look at the outside, we look at the experience from the outside, and we have judgment, right? Because the reason we feel this way is we have a judgment about the experience. We're making a decision about what that means, about what that experience means. And what we can do is just be in the isness. So you're talking about this using different words, being in the isness of the situation and acknowledging, I'm angry, I'm upset, I'm fearful, I'm XYZ, and then find the gratitude, right? Because you're manifesting. You put creation energy behind it. You took action and you're manifesting it. And it doesn't mean that you're not meant to have it or meant to do it. The universe isn't punishing you. God's not punishing you. Spirit's not. It's you made these decisions. Now, from a scientific perspective, what happens is you make a decision and your reticular activating system kicks in, your RAS in your brain, and it wants you to have the success that you have your eye on, and you need to move through the obstacles. You need to overcome the obstacles. You need to overcome the limiting beliefs that you have about why you can't in order for you to have. And so your brain then looks for ways and means for you to bust through every limiting, insert really bad word, belief that you have. So every time you face an obstacle, celebrate. It's like a hell.
Oh
yes.
my God. I remember the first time somebody said that to me. I'm like, go to hell. Go to hell.
I remember
And
you telling me that.
and I'm telling you, there were much harsher words than that. One of the most primary things that I think people need to be doing, and this is definitely my interesting point of view, is you need to be filling your cup up with really powerful information on the daily. Now, one of my favorite books, this is kind of like, I think I started it during when COVID first hit. This is Breaking the Habit. Oh, it's hard to see. Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself by Dr. Joe Dispenza. Yes. So I got it on audio, and I probably have listened to the first 3 chapters at least 20 times.
Yes.
At least 20 times. I remember Anthony Robbins. I was a big Anthony Robbins. Oh my gosh. A long time ago. I used to have all of his stuff on cassette tapes. Remember cassette tapes?
Yeah.
And I listened to them to the point that they nearly wore out. But one of the things that Anthony said was he would go to all of these events and conferences and read books and everything. If he took one thing from each of those items, it would build and build and build and build. And I think that that is so critical. You can't just be in your boohoo. You can't just be there. You have to take action, and you've got to take responsibility to change that mindset. You've got to take responsibility to write your course. And this is one of the ways. It's fill up your mind. Fill it up, fill it up, fill it up. Keep filling it up. Even if all you can do is listen to something for 5 minutes or read for 5 minutes, it's going to add up, and it's going to begin to change everything.
Absolutely.
I cannot believe this, Ranchelle Van Bryce. We are
I know.
to the third break.
I know. I have something to share when we get back. It'll be really quick when we get back. So
okay, cool. All right. Stick around, everybody. Take us to break, Kim. We got to get back here fast. See you on the other side.
Many of us make choices in our lives based on our past experiences or what others believe. What would our lives be like if we made our choices based on what we desire for our futures? When you join Inspired Choices radio show with Coach Christine McIver, you'll be provoked to look at what is true and what you know but may not choose that requires your attention. Christine does not hold back and brings all her expertise during each and every show. Are you ready to create the life and the living you truly desire? Listen for Inspired Choices radio show every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
How wonderful would it be to carry your favorite Inspired Choices Network host with you throughout your day? Well, now you can. Inspired Choices Network now has its very own mobile app. Our free app offers live streaming shows, along with thousands of podcasts and TV episodes. Our shows cover a wide variety of topics. Whether you're waking up with us, carrying us through the day, and taking us to bed with you, we're always here for you to enjoy. We're easy to find. Just search for Inspired Choices Network in the Apple App Store or Google Play Store.
This is the Inspired Choices Show with Coach Christine McIver. To participate in the program, join our live studio audience in our chat room at InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to Christine@InspiredChoices.ca. Now, back to the program.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining tonight. This has been a great show. Went too fast. Ranchelle, take it away.
Okay. So we were talking about how to focus. And so I always like to bring in 1 or 2 actual practical, tactical strategies. So if you are not meditating, I want you to know that meditation is the #1 link to manifesting and creating what it is that you desire. So There's two types of meditation. I won't go into them, but there's like two basic types of meditation. And so, Christine, as you know, I'm getting my PhD, and I love saying that. I got to tell you, in
You
metaphysics.
say it every day you can.
I do, right? Because I'm like, this is just so cool. So in metaphysics, and one of the things I talk about is the importance of meditating. And it doesn't have to be for an hour. It can be like 5, 10, 15 minutes. Eventually can build up to however long it is. But when we focus on the connection to divine source, so we'll use those words, whether you say higher power, Allah, Buddha, God, whichever. What happens is you connect to what I refer to as the formless substance to manifest and create. From a scientific perspective, you access the quantum field. And Joe Dispenza talks about this a lot. So you access the quantum field where all energy resides. So my mic looks like it's solid. It's not. It is energy, right? My chair, the desk, everything is energy. So the only way to access the quantum field is through meditation. So I could spend hours talking about the benefits of meditation, but if there is one thing that you would do differently, that would be it. You would bring in meditation into your world.
And I would suggest do it sooner than later. Don't go through all the trials and tribulations like I did to then bring it in after the fact. Now, the gift in that bringing meditation in as well is when you are going through the trials and the hills and the valleys of feeling overloaded, or that there's no hope, or wherever you are in the poverty piece. When you learn to access meditation and even breathing, it will start to bring you back to conscious choice. And so you are going to get a hold of those unconscious thoughts more and more and more. And then you are absolutely driving the bus. You are absolutely, you've righted your vehicle and you are moving in the direction of your desires. I want you all to know that you have the capability to have your desires. You are the only person that stops them. And while you would probably want to tell me to go jump in a lake after hearing that, like I did many times, when you are willing to really be with the truth of that, that's when everything's going to change. And it's going to be a glorious moment when you get into that deep knowing of, I can create my desires. It's available to me. There's nobody trying to hold you back from it. Ranchelle, we've just got a couple minutes. Your last thoughts on this.
All right. So when you focus on, there's a masculine, divine feminine. So how I explain things is your divine feminine is your creation energy. Your divine masculine is your manifesting energy. And there's not very many people. I don't know if anyone actually talks about it like I do.
I've never heard anybody talk about it like that.
Yeah. So we need both. We need both. We need to access both of those energies. So when we're talking about the focus, we can focus on what we want to create and then focus on taking inspired action.
Yeah, please, please, please. There is an ability for you to have what you desire, and there's a massive ability for you to move out of any kind of poverty or grief or sadness. It's here for you. Before we go, Ranchelle, what's your website again?
Oh, it's easy. RanchelleVanBryce.com. And so I'm easily Googleable. I don't know if that's good or bad.
It is easily Googleable.
Easily Googleable.
Googleable. Mine is inspiredchoices.ca. You can connect with either of us anywhere across social media platforms. You can absolutely join us in this amazing, amazing summit. You got to check it out. Join us at the Oh my God, it just left my brain.
It's okay. The Clarity, Confidence, Connection Summit.
Summit.
You can just Google that. Actually, no, you have the link.
Thank you for choosing to listen to Inspired Choices Radio Show. Christine McIver will return next Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. We hope you'll join us. Until then, be willing to choose what you really desire. This is your life, making the choices that bring you all that you desire.